This is real. This actually happened to a real person, and this is what the news media refuses to talk about. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing the tragic death of Elisa Lam. On January 31st, 2013, 21-year-old Elisa Lam arrived at the Cecil Hotel. The hotel staff remember her as a polite but strangely anxious young woman. She was staying in the hotel as part of a cross-country trip, and had previously stayed at another hotel in Los Angeles for a few weeks. According to the manager of that hotel, Miss Lam had called several times during her stay, saying she thought people were following her. Checking in at the Cecil on January, Miss Lam took the elevator to her room on the 14th floor. Her belongings were discovered in her room a few days later, after she failed to check out. Her phone was found on her bed, and her wallet and passport were in the pocket of the jacket left on her chair. It almost seemed as though she had planned to check out, but had forgotten something and returned to her room. Later, surveillance footage shows Miss Lam entering the elevator alone. And then just before the doors close, a second person is seen briefly entering the elevator, but he quickly leaves again. Whoever he was, the man did not get out on the 14th floor. He did not get out on any floor. At 5:18 a.m., a guest staying on the 19th floor reported hearing a loud bang and seeing the emergency elevator light turn on. It's likely that this was the last time anyone saw Miss Lam alive. Although the CCTV footage becomes grainy and dark, it appears that Miss Lam exits the elevator on the 19th floor and walks down the hallway, but then returns to the elevator less than a minute later. Here, her behavior begins to change. She presses the buttons frantically and peers nervously into the hallway as if expecting someone or something. When the doors open, she holds her arms out as if to stop herself from entering. She remains in the elevator and continues to press the buttons before pressing one, holding the handrail, backing away from the doors, and rocking back and forth. The next day, maintenance workers entered the elevator shaft to fix the malfunctioning elevator doors. An employee was quoted as saying, "We've had a lot of problems with the elevators lately." The footage shows Miss Lam standing motionless in the center of the elevator, and the employee walked right past her without noticing. It wasn't until later that he realized what he had seen on the tape. On February 6, 2013, guests began reporting a strange taste and smell coming from the tap water in their rooms. The next day, maintenance workers climbed onto the roof to investigate the water tank. They discovered Ms. Lam's body submerged inside the tank. There was no water in her lungs, indicating that she had not drowned, and there were no signs of trauma to her body, although she had some defensive wounds on her hands and feet. Police officers reviewed all of the available CCTV footage, but they saw nothing out of the ordinary other than Miss Lam's behavior in the elevator. Her room key card showed no signs of usage after 2 a.m. on February. There was no sign of forced entry into her room, and nothing appeared to be stolen. She had simply vanished. A toxicology report revealed no drugs or alcohol in her system, and there was no indication that Miss Lam had been taking prescription medication. The coroner's report listed her cause of death as unknown, and her manner of death is unknown. To this day, police still don't know how Miss Lam ended up in the water tank, how she managed to climb onto the roof, or why she spent 8 days trapped in the elevator. I have to wonder if she experienced something terrifying in that room. Something so awful that it drove her to climb out of her window and onto the roof, only to die a slow and horrifying death in that water tank. What was that sound? Who was that man in the elevator? And what was he doing? Why was he in a hotel full of creepy old men? Did Miss Lam see something she shouldn't have? Or was she being stalked by someone in that hotel? Maybe even by multiple people? Let me know your thoughts. And thank you for watching.